Welcome back to another episode. My name is Chris. As always with me,
Liam.
I got it right that time. Third time's a charm. Today, we are diving into Wheel of Time, Season 3, Episode 5. It was a good one. Was it better than Episode 4? Did they give us enough? We'll find out. Let us know what you guys thought of this episode down in the comments below. As always, this is more of a discussion about the episode. We don't really have the knowledge of the content of the books, and nor is this episode supposed to be about that. Just two guys who really enjoy watching TV, watching movies, talking about characters, talking about plots, chatting with you about it. So welcome to our little chat. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much. We hit 27,000 subscribers last night. That is no small feat, and it's all thanks to you. So tip of the hat. Thank you very much. And for those of you guys who want behind the scenes access, early access, shout outs on videos, cool stuff like that, we have a Patreon link down in our description. Little as a cup of coffee. You can sign up, and it really helps us with getting these videos out to you guys on time and to everyone. So thank you guys for all of that. But without further ado, we got a lot to talk about. Let's dive in. What do you think of the episode, brother?
It's still lots of process. I watched it 3 times.
Holy crap. The man who won't watch things more than once has watched something 3 times. Write the date down.
I feel like I was missing so much on this episode. Like, last episode was fucking awesome. It was a whole lot. Yeah, could do the same thing there. But this one felt a bit more, not as smooth with the consistency.
Yeah. Well, I would agree, because last episode, and shout out to the comment section, as always, you guys always have our backs. You know, we misspoke last video and we said previous lives instead of ancestors. Actually, we kind of blended the two concepts in our mind during that entire video, which led to a little bit of confusion. So I appreciate everyone being so cool in the comments and being like, hey, no, there's a difference and this is what it is and check this out. Just, you know, we appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what I was asking about. Like, I didn't understand why there was no magic.
Yeah. So it was because we were blending those two concepts together instead of keeping them separate, because the dragon is a previous life of Rand's, and what we saw were his ancestors, not necessarily his lives themselves, right? So it was a little bit different, and that's what makes the confusion, because we blended them together.
Yeah.
But with this, I agree, because last episode, we basically followed Rand, with a little bit of jumping off here and there, but we basically followed Rand the most of the time. Rand and Maureen's story, right? Like their journey through the Cloud City and learning about the wheel, basically. In this episode, we're back to multiple plots again, right? Like we're back to the dragon, we're back to the White Tower, we're back to Perrin, back home in the Two Rivers. We're also across the sea now with everyone hunting the Black Aja. So like we have all of this stuff going on. So it's a lot more to like comprehend and like put together. So it makes sense.
So I love the opening scene. That opening scene was beautiful.
Yeah.
Where you had Maureen starting to play with that orb, the giant pearl thing.
Yeah, yep.
And she's up there, she's summoning all the energy, it seems like, and it's literally reshaping the landscape.
Yeah, she's weaving the one power. And we've seen her do it in season 1, episode 1, but on a obviously much smaller scale, right? She can only do so much without burning herself out unless she uses a magical item like that. And I think, tip of the hat to visual effects for season 3, the way that they have been showing magic has been awesome. I really love the way it weaves and moves and like the different colors it brings in. Like it's almost like an aurora borealis, like, but magic. And I think it's really cool how they do that, especially with the seafarer ones. That was cool.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. But, you know, it was cool to see the duality of magic, too, in that opening scene, where she has the ecstasy and the euphoria of, like, it's almost like getting high using magic, right? It's like this body high for them.
That's why she has land.
Yeah. But there's also the other side of that, where too much power, you can start to see, like, her face is starting to turn black and her veins are starting to show. And, like, she's starting to almost, like, wither as that power takes her instead of her like channeling it, and then Land shows up and kind of saves her.
Kind of like that one big fight scene where they're in the wasteland area, right? And they're trying to defend that pass, kind of like the 300 stand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember the scene, no.
The one queen or princess woman of that city goes ahead and, because she's not as strong, asks all Quane and them to, let me use your power.
100% remember that scene now, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like how they start melting and stuff like that, lose their eyes.
Yeah, that's the scene. Yeah, she kills most of them, and Quane and Naeem survive that, right? Yeah, I remember that scene now. That's when they are trapped, right? They're prisoners of the one country. Are they not? Isn't that not when they get trapped and she
They're
begins like
defending the castle as the last stand, I thought.
maybe? I don't know. That's previous season anyway.
Okay. But it's so hard to keep track of everything for this specific episode for me.
Okay. Well, let's give it a shot.
I just want to talk about those sea people because you brought it up. You brought it up too. Dude, those are like my new favorite casters.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're so badass because they had the whole conversation of you mentioned duality, right? And they had the conversation of please don't tell the White Tower type shit, right? They wouldn't understand. They don't agree with how we use it and all that. And it seems like the sea casters are like more powerful.
I don't know about more powerful. We've seen what the Aes Sedai can do. A fully trained White Tower Aes Sedai can do. They're powerful.
Mm-hmm. But they also mention the sea people mention that the Aes Sedai are like limited,
Right.
in comparison.
So they have where and like a system in which they have to fit themselves, right? The White Tower has like a hierarchy who answers to the mother, who then answers to the heads of the Jah, who then there's like a structure to it, right?
They're military.
It's government-like, where like you have to answer to somebody and someone tells you what you can and cannot do.
Okay.
Where the seafarers, their channelers are free.
They're not locked to a singular discipline.
I'm just saying that, I think that the White Tower, because it's structured over almost, very government-like, that it has control and limits what their Aja can do, where the channelers who are not falling under the White Tower, so you see the wise ones in the Aeels, they have channeling ability. Some of them can channel, some of them can dreamwalk, some of them can do both. Mm-hmm. Then you have the seafarers that we just met who also can channel, control the wind and like move vessels faster than anybody can comprehend, right? And so what we're learning, I think, is that magic is more prevalent throughout the world than we thought initially watching the series, but every culture looks at it differently.
Yeah, because you've got the dark ones also, right? And then you also have the ones that we saw where Quane was captured.
Where they treat them like slaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a similar type of use of the magic, but in the barbaric fucking evil way.
Yeah, they weaponized it.
Yeah.
They look at them as slaves and they weaponize them. And then in Tar Valon, they're worshipped. They're like the highest of the Arlen Chair is like the thing, right? It's like the highest position of that.
Like Queen of England.
Yeah, it's a power higher than queens. You see the queen in her as equals, right? So it's like...
I wouldn't say equals. She still got bow.
Only because she was once an Aes Sedai.
Is that the only reason?
I believe so. Otherwise, I think they would just be equals. But because they actually had served together, I think that's kind of like why she respects that more. Mm-hmm. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Am I wrong? Like, is that like, are they truly, is the Arlen Chair like above a king or a queen, or are they equals?
So the other piece I want to talk about is Maureen's conversation with Lan, or I forget whether it was with Suan later on.
It's long.
Where she was talking about, I now know for certain there are two factors that need to come into play, where I need to die.
She doesn't say that to her. So you're mixing up two scenes.
So I'm talking about Lan then.
Yeah. So with Lan, she talks about dying. With Suan, she talks about the White Tower having to bow to Rand for the last battle to succeed.
So she did leave.
She never tells her the second thing.
Yeah.
Which is
she says she's going to tell her two things. She only told her one thing.
Yep.
But because we saw the conversation with Lan earlier, we now know the two things.
Yeah, so she's by the fire, basically like in her emotions.
That shit moonshine.
Well, not yet. So that's one of the things that I think Lan brings to the situation for them, is that you have Maureen, who has just gone through a very traumatic experience, sitting by the fire, like basically realizing that she has dedicated her life to find and serve one purpose, and now she's realized to fulfill that purpose, she ultimately has to die. Because if she doesn't, then the purpose will never be fulfilled. And so she's at this crossroads like, oh shit, I know I'm gonna die. So Lan comes down and he's like, you're just being a G. You're supposed to die tonight? Yeah. good. So we could at least party tonight. Have some shine with me, right? And then they both drink the obviously very disgusting tasting moonshine, and they laugh over it, right?
Yeah, well, they laugh over it because Len's like, "You're in for a treat." Like talking it up.
Yeah, it's gonna kick. Not Gus is good.
Yeah.
And then we also have, what's her name? The one that just became the wise one.
I'm so bad with her name.
Yeah, I keep forgetting.
Talking about the Aiel chick.
She becomes a wise one. She's no longer a warrior. She gets punished, basically. And part of her training now is she has to train Rand in the ways of the Aiel.
After she said that he wouldn't give her the opportunity and all that. And they're like, well, you know what? Fine. You think you couldn't make a change? Then the moment you wake up to the moment he goes to bed, you're going to be by his side.
Yeah.
That was like a parent chastising a child.
100%. Did you notice the word they use, though? Because it's a word that you and I don't like using, or anyone that we work with or students that we have using. Can't.
Oh.
There is no can't.
Yeah. It was, I'm going to go on a small tangent here. So that whole chieftain dude.
The one with one dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rand, him, and a few others end up going to that city. And we get introduced to his second wife.
Yeah.
And then later on in the episode, we see the whole Rand picking up that trait as well. Did you notice that?
No.
Because he's with Quane, right?
Yeah. Kind of.
He's also with Landfear.
Yeah.
And they mirrored those two things together based on the chieftain and him.
Okay, I can see where you're going with that. Yeah.
It was like when Rand saw the introduction of the second wife, it opened the door for him to be like, okay, maybe what I'm feeling isn't so wrong, and I can do this too. So he wants the best of both worlds. He wants Quane and Landfear.
Interesting. That
was the pattern I saw.
I would come from the lens, and let me know what you guys think in the comments, what you guys think, because this is interesting, because I saw it a little bit differently. I see what you're saying, though, because that could definitely, once he sees that could definitely influence him. If he comes from a tribe and his ancestors are not monogamous, they take on lives and their love is boundless, right? Then I could see him starting to lean that way. But I saw the scene paint out. Him and Egwene have been in love since he was little. Mm-hmm. But since they've left the two rivers, they have been slowly parting. They've been together based on what's familiar, not necessarily what they want anymore.
I disagree. I feel like the only reason they've been pulling apart is because of the trauma that she went through. That's why she was hesitant. Because when Rand went to kiss her earlier in the season, he put his hand by her throat, and she pulled back because she went to a straight trauma flashback of her as a prisoner.
Yeah.
Well, prisoner, slave. I guess those both be interchangeable.
She was locked in a cell. Prisoner makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why I saw it that way.
No, I get what you're saying. I perceive it as him starting to move away from her, and then him also going through his past, or his ancestors' past, allowed him to get get to see the humanity, the true human of Landfear before she became Forsaken. Mm-hmm. And we got to see, I predicted that was going to actually have him move away from her. Last episode that we talked about it. This episode, we actually got confirmed that that's the thing that's actually driving him to her. Yeah. Plus, she specifically said, "I love you," and poured her heart into him and said, "Hey, I'm doing this for you. I want to be with you. This is my goal."
She was talking herself down in that scene, and he was doing the opposite. He's like, "No, I still see that same woman." And she also mentions that she's even fallen in love with the idea of helping him accomplish saving the world. That part was exciting.
Yeah. She's like, "I've always loved the darkness in you, but I'm learning to love that side as well." And that's it's powerful. And not where I thought the Landfear character was going to end up going with Rand. I thought for sure she was going to end up becoming more of an antagonist, but it seems like she will be an ally, and probably one of the reasons why they're able to fight the Forsaken before he gets the sword, or maybe helps him get the sword, right?
Well, wasn't she driving him to get the sword quickly in the beginning?
Yeah. Her and Maureen were like working together
Yeah.
to get him to go there, and he said, "Screw you both. I'm going to do what I want." Yeah, yeah,
I think he's got a lot more clarity since then.
yeah.
You know how the one Aes Sedai had the 2 warders, and one of them died?
Correct.
What'd you think of that whole interaction there? Like, she's telling the warder that's left alive that he's not enough.
Yeah, but I think so. I personally don't know what they're feeling or how they're going through, like what they're experiencing. I know what it feels like to lose a loved one. I don't know what it's like to have to like fight to grieve because the other person loved them as equal. Like, because that's another thing they talked about in the previous episode is the Aes Sedai doesn't feel like she has permission to grieve because who gets to grieve basically is what she's saying. Like, if you're grieving, then I don't get to grieve, right? So like it was like a weird thing. So I think they're just trying to figure out how to deal with the fact that they both just lost the love of their life. And someone angrily lashing out and being like, "You're not enough," which, I mean, there's truth to that word. She's used to having emotional connection with 2 people. Now she has half of that. And of the people she has left, she has the one who is more soft-spoken and not as affectionate, right? Where the other guy, he was like the light of everybody, and then they lost him. So now there's these 2 darknesses trying to figure it out together. So I thought it was necessary, but the way that scenario ends shows just how deep that love and care and that bond really does go despite grief. And I thought that was cool. I was a little upset. Like, I was like, oh no, Liam's favorite character is going down.
Yeah. So that was painful. I really hate those fucking white cloaks. Motherfucker. I really hate that.
Yeah.
I do so much. And the fact that the child, he called him child something.
Yeah, so
Son
well, child is just the name of like it's a leadership rank inside of the White Cloaks.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're a child of light.
Okay. Yeah. So the one that lost his father to Perrin.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember his name. I know, like, the one I'm thinking of is Balda. He's the guy that, like, tortures people.
Yeah, I hate that dick.
Yeah.
I seriously hate him. I think they did a very good job casting him because he's very good at that role to make you hate him so much.
Yeah.
I want to know, whenever you guys are watching our videos on this, if you could do us a favor and go in the comments, just let us know what's the same or possibly what's different between the episode and the way they talk about in the book.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to know for sure. So we're on the White Cloaks, and so that brings us to Perrin's journey, really. And so he's back in the 2 Rivers, and he finds out that he is running out of time to save Matt's mom and sisters. That the reinforcements for the White Cloaks are coming anytime now. I think it's like the next day. So that, like, if they don't act tonight, they're not going to be able to. So they get their stealthiest people. As the Ogier says, I'm not known for stealth. So he gets to stay behind. They get their, 4 stealthiest people and they go in. So the 2 Aiel warriors, Perrin and I forget her name. Names are just dropping off my mind today. Short hair with the blades, like a rogue type.
I still have mistrust of her.
What's her name though?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, she goes in with Perrin, the Aes Sedai, who we already talked about, who takes the arrows and has the whole thing.
Does the whole fog.
Brings fog in. Yep.
That was super cool.
Yeah. But they're aware, right? Like, they're like, okay, a natural fog, this is magic. So they actually go hunt her, which leads to that whole fight scene with her and her warder coming back to save her, which was pretty cool to see, as we mentioned. But then you have Perrin sneaking through the camp, looking for the girls and the mom. They save the girls.
And that's Matt's sisters and mother.
Correct.
Okay.
Which we found out this episode, one of them's a very powerful channeler.
Yeah.
Like, powerful enough to send a full-grown man across the room.
As a child and unskilled.
I do believe it's one of the girls, right? I don't think the mother just took the blame because she didn't want the girls to get hurt, but I do believe it's one of them.
I think it's the youngest.
Or both. Because they might both be channelers. We don't know.
So could it be like in other like supernatural type movies where they share the power but it only works if they're together? That
would be unique for that, like a very unique scenario. I have never experienced that before in this universe.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. If
where they need like 2 channelers to combine together to make to make it work.
Or because their bond's so close that they can just naturally do it.
Yeah. I don't know. It could just be that, one of them can channel when they're under extreme duress, right? They felt like they were going to get hurt, so they did something. We don't know. We'll find out. What do you guys think? Who can channel? Can they both? And can they only do it when they're under extreme duress?
So the mother gets killed when Perrin comes to...
So she doesn't just get killed. That guy,
burned.
He tortures for information. So I'm curious what she said and how much of Perrin's actually out with Rand and gives all the names of the people that are out there. I don't know whether or not that happens. But she definitely gets burnt up.
I thought they only get burned or killed if they're proven to be the channeler. But is it because she took the blame that they just jumped straight to that?
I think one, I think she took the blame. Two, I think she may not have said anything. And three, I think they just really enjoy killing people. They use the light and their cause as the thing, but they're evil, right? They enjoy what they do. And so, I don't know. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Did they burn her just because? Or because he normally would look for proof of channeling, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe the proof was that he said she did. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Whether it was just because of that or not. But we've got the Aes Sedai in the ward. She's up there doing the fog thing and battling all these other White Cloaks by herself. Mm-hmm. She gets shot a bunch of times by the arrows, but she fucks them up. And then her warder finally comes in and she's like, what are you doing here, kind of thing.
She said, how did you find me?
Yeah. Put the bond back on 5 arrows ago.
You turned it back on 5 hours ago. Oh.
I thought that part made me really laugh.
Yeah.
That made me really happy there, even though it was such a sad part of the episode.
Yeah.
But she doesn't die, does she?
No, she gets away.
Okay.
Yeah, she gets away with him. They both get away. Perrin ultimately gets away as well.
He gets stabbed.
He does get stabbed, but does not die. And as soon as he gets to an Aes Sedai, they'll be able to heal him. So I don't think he's in any serious trouble. It wasn't like it was a Trolloc that stabbed him with a poison blade or something.
Yeah. That's why I was wondering if the one Aes Sedai ended up dying with the warder, because there's no other one Aes Sedai around to heal.
I don't think that any of the arrows hit her vitally, right? She got a bunch through the arms.
That was a lot of arrows.
It's all right. She'll be all right.
Yeah, until the infection sets in.
I'm sure they'll get her some healing before that happens. So, kind of a successful, but yet they succeeded in rescuing who was alive. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the mother did get killed before they got there, so that wasn't as good. But the two girls do get saved before the White Cloaks get a hold of them, or kill them, really, because they already had a hold of them.
And there's a huge piece we haven't even discussed yet.
Back at the White Tower. Oh, I was going to say, because we haven't talked about the White Tower fully yet either. But let's talk about the Dreamwalk.
So the Dreamwalk is really cool. I loved her armor that she put on.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you must have put that on because you were feeling defensive and scared.
Yeah, I was like, that was her ceremonial armor from the White Tower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
That armor's sick.
Yeah, it was cool.
But the whole jumps towards the end of the dreamwalking stuff really confused the hell out of me. Were those actual dreams that were going on?
Yes.
So she was just hopping into their dreams.
So, as far as I understand it, Quane has the power to walk through dreams, but the way the show is showing it is she already has it mastered. She's way more powerful. She can do what she already needs to do, and she already promised the wise ones that she would not do it without them, and already has broken that, right? And so she innocently uses it to help Maureen send the message, but then also realizes that since she can do it, let me go check on my friends real quick. Mm-hmm. And she does. She balances through all the different dreams of them living, their lives until she gets to the last one. It turns into a nightmare for her. Yeah, that's a pretty cool power. And I'm sure there'll be consequences for her breaking her promise. And Landfear is also, as far as I understand it, the most powerful channeler who can dreamwalk. She's the master of the dreamwalk as far as any channeler alive right now. So she's trying to dreamwalk and battle against the most powerful dreamwalker. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Yeah. She She's getting her mind fucked with by Landfear so bad.
That was one thing. What do you think about this? Did Landfear know before? So did she show up to Rand and set up that whole situation just because she knew Egwene was dreamwalking? Or did Egwene really just walk in on it and then Landfear used it in the moment? Because she locks eyes with her. She knows she's there.
I think she did it in the moment.
So she just realized, oh, Egwene's here. Let me lay it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like a jealous woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
So yeah.
That's all I saw it as.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, but
You had your chance.
Let us know what you guys think of the dreamwalking. Did you think that it was a little too fast that she like figured it out and mastered it? Do you think there'd be severe consequences that she broke it with the wise ones? I'm interested to see.
I think she's just so powerful that she's still stumbling her way through what she can and can't do.
Yeah. Well,
That's what I think it is.
she's definitely, I would agree with that then. And they talked about one thing we didn't shout about before we go to the White Tower and close it out.
Is that gray dude?
We'll talk about that in the White Tower.
No, the one from the Dreamwalker landscape.
We're going to get to that in the White Tower. Trust me. We'll get to that.
Okay.
So the one thing I did want to bring up, because they mentioned it in the episode, is that there's like there's almost like a sacred power that comes from the two rivers, right? All of our main characters that come from there, they're powerful. Mm-hmm. And your favorite Aes Sedai goes back there to recruit her army. And she says the reason she does that is it's no coincidence that the two most powerful channelers, the Hornblower, the Dragon Reborn himself, all come from this place. There's powerful ancestry here.
Mm-hmm. It said something about flowing through its veins.
Yeah.
What? It felt like magical lava or something.
So I have a feeling that as she builds this army, we're going to get more of not only that lore, that content, but maybe even more magical people, right? If it runs so deep in that area, then I got to think there's not just 5. There's got to be more people that can do crazy cool things. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to know more of the history of how that got founded. Like, how did so many magical, powerful people come to one place? I don't know. I'm interested to see all that. But we have White Tower.
We got White Tower, and we also have Matt and Lynn. Is that her name? Okay, Matt and Lynn. Their whole connection. She gave up the ability to have what she sees her power as a curse to save Matt, right? And they've reconnected on the ship also. That part I want to bring notice to. And the drawing that Matt looked at was him, right?
Yes. It was Matt hanging from a rope.
And he still has himself convinced that her vision was not true about him killing Rand. That part kind of struck me a bit, and she didn't correct him at all.
Yeah, because he's trying to convince himself that it's not going to happen, even though it will.
Okay.
Because he did stab Rand. He just didn't kill him.
Yeah.
Right? So it did come true. He just,
it just had more context. The vision lacked all the context.
Yeah. So when he lays down in bed again and rolls over, and that like look of just despair on his face, like you realize in that moment, like, oh, that's all a front. He really does believe it. He's really trying to convince himself it's not going to happen.
He's just letting him live that fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can go White Tower.
Yeah. So the last really big thing we got to talk about is the White Tower, and they discover, based on a little bit of math, that there is one more dark Black Aja, we'll call it, dark supporter inside of the White Tower. They believe it is the Red Aja who's trying to cause all the trouble right now. So they try to set her up.
Is she the Red Aja now?
She's not. She's the Red Aja. She's always been.
Oh, I thought that was a title.
So there's red, white, blue,
like
green,
whoever
brown.
the leader of that color was, I thought was the Aja.
They have a seat on the council, but there's a whole faction under them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize all of the reds and all the blues were just the color in an Aja.
Correct.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
And then
I thought that was just the leader of that discipline. That was the Aja.
Each color has leaders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought the title Red Aja was that leader's name.
No.
Okay, that I thought it was their title. That's why I was confused.
So the color represents their discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So red is all about controlling men and their power. You know, okay, yeah, so different. Okay. So they set a trap to see, one, if she breaks her oaths, because if she does, then she's a dark friend, because true Aja can't break an oath, right? Unless they have given their vows over to the Dark One. Or she's going to try to rescue her Black Aja supporters if the trap goes well. Well, there's two things that could happen here. Either she is so smart that she knew this was going to happen, and she kills the other Black Aja and interrogates the other one to kind of gain the Armelin's trust so that they would never suspect that she's the third. Or she really is just another Aja trying to get to the, Aes Sedai trying to get to the bottom of what's going on here.
And they used the crazy sister.
They used the crazy sister to lay up the trap. Here's where I'm concerned. I don't believe that she's necessarily evil. I believe she's power hungry. She wants the thing she never had.
She wants a chair.
Exactly. I think the brown sister, the one that works in the library, the little heavyset, the one that has the crazy sister, I believe that particular brown Aja is the dark friend.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Why else in the previous episode?
You're talking about the stabbing?
Yeah, it still's not sitting right with me. Why give us that if you're not going to give us little hints to that she's not who she says she is?
I don't know.
Also, she's the only other person that knew that they were all going to be at the 13th depository. So she could have been the one who let Mogadeth know. How do you say her name? Shit, I can't. The other Forsaken, spider-like one, let her know, and she sent the Gray Man.
That's a different possibility.
Otherwise, how does the Gray Man know to go there at that exact moment to kill her? Because he didn't attack anyone else but her.
But wasn't there another Gray Man, though? I thought there was a Gray Man for the Dreamwalker thing, because the other wise ones, when they're there, they're like, your first time doing this, you run into a Forsaken.
I don't remember a Gray Man being in that sequence.
I could have sworn. I could be mixing it.
Because Landfear that's not her thing. Because she runs into Landfear in the Dreamwalk.
Okay.
Landfear's the one who's chokes her in the first Dreamwalk. It's the shorter.
I thought something else attacked her, though.
No. There are dark shadows moving around.
Seeing as I watched this twice yesterday and finished watching it again this morning, I could have just dreamt it. So much on my mind.
So there are like these shadow-like creatures that we don't see other than we see like the shadow move when she's in the dream world. There is something else there. And they talk about, like, Landfear has many names. She's been called many things throughout time. One of the things that she is called is, what'd they say? I don't know. I'm forgetting it. But basically, the dream world, the monsters in the dream world gave her a name because she was so powerful.
I don't know.
All right. Let us know in the comments if you guys have that answer.
But yeah, and then we get left the one we already talked about where Landfear is like, I see you, girl.
Yeah. So, the end of the episode is Egwene's worst nightmare. The man she loves is with another woman. So that's hard.
Yeah, I can't wait for next week. And I'm sure there was a whole lot more that we missed too. But
yeah, let us know down in the comments, guys. What did we miss? What did you guys like about this episode? What didn't you like? Like Liam had mentioned earlier, if you've read the books, without spoiling what's to come, because that's the only reason I haven't read these yet. I do not want to spoil what I'm watching. So please don't do that to me. But yes, if you have context to what we've already watched and what's different between the books and that, definitely would love your analysis, definitely would love your feedback, would love to hear what you guys think is different, good, bad, great, whatever, right? Would definitely love to hear that. But with that being said, that's it for episode 5. If you guys enjoyed it, let us know down in the comments. If you want to watch a full review of every episode we've done on Wheel of Time so far, I have a playlist of it right here. We've also been reviewing a lot of awesome shows on Prime. You guys have been really loving those ones. Have a whole playlist for those right down here. And then YouTube says that they really love the one above my head, so you can check that out as well. But without anything else, make sure you're subscribed and the notification bell is hit so you never miss a single episode. Otherwise, YouTube just isn't going to let you know. Silly YouTube. But anyway, my name is Chris, as always,
Liam,
and we'll see you on the video. Peace.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.